Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap, to our special 12-hour live stream to benefit St. Jude's before this beautiful Easter holiday. As usual, I'm Robert, your resident Gen Xer, and right over there, John, our resident millennial. John, how are you doing today?
It's me. I'm doing fantastic. Do you know why, Robert?
Tell me,
Do
John,
you know
why do you
why?
feel fantastic?
Because we're gonna raise a shitload of money for
I
some
thought it was
fucking
because you
sick
slept
ass
it off.
kids.
I thought it was because you slept it off from last night.
Nope, that's not why.
All right. What are we doing, John? We're raising money for what?
We're raising money for St. Jude's
St.
Children's
Jude's.
Hospital.
St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
That's
Now,
right.
does anybody not know what St. Jude's is?
I think most people do, but for those who might have been living under a rock, it is
A big rock.
a big rock. It is a children's hospital which does cancer research, right? Curing childhood cancers and treating children who have cancer.
They also focus on other major diseases that afflict children as well. They
Okay,
do
yeah,
lots of
great.
research in lots of areas. But what is the tell us, John? What is the greatest thing that they do? What is one of the most beneficial things they do for those children
Yeah,
and their families?
it's actually my favorite thing that they do. When your child goes to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, they do not receive a bill for anything, any of the treatment, any housing, any food, nothing like that. All of it is taken care of, and it's all because of donations from people like us and people like you out there.
Even your
So
travel expenses are taken care
that's
of.
that's true too. I forgot about that one. Yeah, even your
Because
travel expenses.
St. Jude's believes that the only thing a parent should worry about in those kind of situations is their
Hmm.
child getting better. And man, that
Absolutely.
that is an awesome thing. And for those of us that do have children, this is one of the thoughts that's always in the back of your mind.
Hmm.
You always worry about your children, and it's good to know that there's organizations out there like St. Jude's that are ready to pick up the slack, try and take care of your children and put them on a healthy path so that they live a nice long life and reap the rewards of that life. It's an amazing thing that they
Yeah,
do, and we hope that today we can see lots of folks coming out and dropping some money in it. It doesn't matter if it's $1, it doesn't matter if it's $5 or $10. We want to see money going in because every little bit helps. It doesn't matter how much
absolutely.
it is.
And
And
I was gonna say, as promised, I've already thrown in my $100, so we are a tenth of the way to our goal from the start.
And on top of that, we have three goals set up, folks. Count it, three goals.
Yep,
We are looking to hit the $250 mark. And if we do, our friend John, our resident
that's me.
millennial, is going to be forced to come up with
Yeah,
10, count them, 10 positive things to say about Alexandria
Ocasio
Ocasio
Cortez.
Cortez. He's got to come up with
Yes.
10 nice things to say about her that do not involve her looks, her attractiveness. They've got to be about the person herself, her policy, whatever. 10 things.
Hmm.
And that's going to be a tough trick. Have you been have
That
you been
is.
have you been working on this, John, at all?
I've thought of a couple of things.
Just two? Come on, John.
Yeah,
You can do better
yeah,
than
it's not going to be easy. Like I said, and it's not going to be easy, but it's worth it.
now.
I hope that I do have to do that
Now,
because that means I will have $250 at least.
right? We have set a second goal of $500. And John, what's going to happen if we hit that $500 mark?
Which one was it that we decided?
Well, you
'Cause I
decided to
know.
kill the drawing you were going to do. We won't touch on
Yes,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, that's yeah.
what was it you posted out this morning that you were willing to do?
Well, so I was saying that I was willing to spend an entire hour speaking very poor Irish Gaelic, as I've been learning the language for pretty close to a year now. Not very good at it, but I mean, I'll do what I can.
And is any of that
Which
intelligible
means,
as English?
there's a few words that translate. Like pasta is still the same word; it's just pronounced
I mean,
differently.
is
It's
that
just
going to make it
pasta.
impossible for us to have a conversation?
Yes, absolutely, it will.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I thought about scrapping that too, but I was like, no, it's too late now.
Well,
Like
what
we
we
don't
can
have
do
time
is we'll
for anything.
tap into the chat as we go along and see if anybody has a better idea, something more fun. But the real
Yes.
goal, the real goal, because we set a realistic goal of $1,000 to raise for St.
Yep.
Jude's. We want to raise more than that, of course, like anybody. But at 1,000, John is going to shave that beard. He's going to get rid
Just
of everything on his face so that we
luxurious.
can see the creeper that's underneath. There's Stephen Ignoramus showing up in the
Hey,
chat. How are you doing
Stephen
today, Stephen
Ignoramus.
Ignoramus? Thank you so much for all the wonderful plugs you've been doing.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
we're looking forward to having Stephen Ignoramus with us throughout the stream, especially at 7 p.m. tonight, because we've got a special Second Amendment gun debate going on between myself and Jay Edgar, who will also be showing up. And
Yep.
Stephen is going to be moderating this, a Lincoln Douglas style debate, as we explore just how the Second Amendment is or isn't relevant in today's day and age as it's been worded and how it's interpreted.
Yeah.
And we're really glad to have Stephen on board helping us with that. And if you look down in the links, not only do you see links for us and for the GoFundMe for our St. Jude's charity, but you'll also see a link to Stephen's channel, Jay Edgar's channel. And we are expecting to have Jake from Freedom Scoop here at some point today. So his link to his site is down there as well. So we highly recommend that you check out those shows. Those guys are awesome. They do some awesome shows, some awesome feeds, and they do a lot for us as well. They are some cool cats, I must say.
That's
to
right.
dip into my a little bit of my boomer.
Boomer humor.
I
Indeed.
like that, John. I like that.
Yeah. It's not mine. I can't take credit for it.
Well, of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
Michael Vega says Shalom, brothers.
Shalom, Borthers.
Borthers. I'm sorry.
Borthers. We're Borthers today.
Yes,
I can't
welcome.
tell if
Welcome
that's
to the
like
show. Welcome.
bumpkin ass boomer. Is Borthers like a cross between a boar that's bothersome? Hey, there's Cameron.
There's a Cameron.
Look at Cameron showing up. Look at all these folks showing up early in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Love to see it, folks. Welcome to the Generational Gap. Hey, we've got lots of stuff that we're going to talk about over the next 12 hours, John. I have been cramming show suggestions into that Discord channel for the last couple of days. Just all sorts of topics. What's up, Tenchi? Good to see you.
Tenchi's in the chat. Ew. Oh, gross. Send it in the stream. That's it. Stream's over. I can't do this.
Why is that automatically a woman? Well, Tench, if you have to ask that, well,
it's automatically a woman because we need to empower women to give what looks like a Nazi salute. It could be easily interpreted as a Nazi salute in the chat. Why are you doing that, Tenchi?
Michael Vega.
This is why we can't have him around.
Michael Vega is here to get heated faster about guns than his 9mm at a day on the range.
That's awesome. Yeah, make sure you tune into the debate then, for sure.
I will say Jay Edgar made a good point in Discord, which is going to make this debate a little bit interesting. Neither one of us is against the Second Amendment or gun ownership.
Right.
It's simply about how we interpret this thing and how we look at gun control in this country.
I think that's how most gun debates go. I don't think you're going to find a lot of people. You'll find some, but not a lot of people are outright want, gun bans.
Oh, come on, no. Well, reactionaries.
Or at least they don't say they do.
The reactionaries. You know how reactionaries are. Every time there's a shooting, every time there's an increase in gun crime, this, that, and the other, their first thing is get all the guns off the street, which we know is impossible, so you can't do anything about that. And yes, there are some in Washington that would much rather have it go away, because they don't get money from gun lobbyists. They're like, we don't take your money, so we want your guns gone. Fuck you.
Oh, whatever. Let's not get into it. Let's not get into it before the debate. I'm sure they do.
So lots of stuff to talk about, and one thing we're gonna do in this through this 12 hours, we are gonna take a few breaks so that we don't overburden YouTube with a full 12-hour stream. So about every couple of 2.5 hours, we're going to take a quick break, 10 minutes or so, and get bumped back into the stream. But in our second segment, I'm kind of excited to talk about this. We're going to be focused on the Mueller report that came out yesterday, and all the implications. My God, media has just blown up. It's just everywhere, just all sides, all factions, just talking about this thing and what it says and what it doesn't say, and varying points of view that just kind of make you scratch your head a little bit and go, well, what do we do about this?
Yeah. Michael Vega in the chat there is asking about the timeline on the debate. It's going to be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, we tried to shoot for a prime time debate.
Yeah. So if you're around during then, you'll... shit! We've already hit 400.
400 what?
$400 on the GoFundMe.
Oh shit, John! That means we've hit our $250. That's our first goal met. So we can start off this stream with you having to come up with 10 positive things to say about AOC.
I honestly didn't think that it would happen so quickly.
Gosh,
that's amazing.
John,
we might have to set a higher goal.
You are so.
I need to protect the beard for as long as possible. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. That was
that's awesome. Love to see that happening. Love to see it happening. So, John,
that is awesome, guys. Really,
so
thank
throughout
you.
this first segment, in fact, we're gonna make this a little easy on you.
Down with the beard, says Michael Vega. No,
we're gonna make this.
It's not down with the beard. We're setting it free.
Setting it free.
We're just setting it free. Yes, that's the spin I'm going with.
I was kind of on board, hoping we could just burn the damn thing off, but you want to opt for shaving, so
yeah.
So through this first segment, we'll take it easy on you. You don't have to come up with all 10 right this moment, but
okay, yeah, we can drag it out.
You can drag it out a little bit, but you've got to.
And that's correct,
about her body or looks. It's got to be about the person herself. So, John, give us our first positive spin on AOC.
Oh, you just want one right now?
Start us off. If you've got more than one, hit us with what you've got, and then we'll get
I've got
the
a couple. I'll do 2 right now, and then we'll wait.
And we will let the chat judge if these positive things you say are actually positive. None of that sideways spin. None of that sideways spin.
No. No, because this is one thing that I legitimately have a little bit of respect for her about, is that she's very passionate about what she does.
That is correct,
she's
Michael.
She's extremely passionate. Yes, yeah. So there you go. That's my first one. She's very passionate.
Passionate.
And yes. And I'll even tack on to the same one, doesn't even count as another one, is that she's she's very passionate about the things that she believes, and she believes the things that she believes. Unlike a lot of people in Congress.
On the fence. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because we've heard some of the shit she believes.
Right. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that, she actually believes what she says she believes, and that's rare in politics.
All right.
So I'll give her that.
What's your second one?
Second one is she's highly motivated. That's my second one. She is very motivated about, getting the things done that she wants to get done. So I'll say that about her.
Very motivated. Passion, fervor. All right, we've got a
thumbs up.
We've got a thumbs up on passion, fervor. How about motivation? Does motivation count as a positive?
I believe it does, yeah.
I would think it does.
I mean, she's not just sitting around. Yeah, I got another thumbs up from Michael Vega.
Because I got to say, that new Green Deal, that was a motivated move. As fucked up as it might seem. It's a motivated move, right? Passionate and motivated.
I don't think you conflate passion and motivation, Tenchi.
Yeah,
I think those are two separate.
You can have passion about something, and then sit on your ass and do nothing about it.
Like me, there are things I'm passionate about, but I'm not very motivated. So,
but I do think you need passion to be motivated.
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, you can have one and not the other, and you can have, one does preclude the other at times too. Just depends on you, I guess.
But you can have motivation without passion. You can be motivated to go to work and get your job done because you that kind of thing. Not because you
Yeah.
love the job, but because you want to get your work done for the day, right? You're
Right.
motivated. Yeah.
Even if
Um,
you don't like AM.
all right, so
So those are my two for right now. We'll
that's
do
two.
two more later.
All right,
Yep.
so we're going to be looking for 8 more things about AOC.
All right.
In that vein, there was something that I wanted to point out about AOC. I put something in the show suggestions, John, about AOC. Do you remember that? I thought it was kind of interesting.
Let me find it.
We can, since we're on her, we can, well, not on her because
Ha.
nobody wants to be on her. But there was.
J. Edgar does want to be on her. Just saying.
Does he really?
Yeah, his joke is that she's his future wife. I think it's kind of funny.
Is it just that he wants to
Let's
get
see.
her on the headboard cam?
Probably, yeah, probably. And Michael Vega asks where is his favorite mods. Uh,
Don't we just
Midget
have
B is working right now, so I don't think he's gonna be joining us until later.
Tinchy says he would be on her as well. Well, if you
Yeah, I also would.
throw that
Fight
link,
me on caps lock.
throw that link up for me, John, and
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
let's because I have to say the photo of her might ruin some of that impetus. I'm just saying because they definitely caught her bad side for this picture.
Yeah, they do that once in a while. How long ago was it that you posted it? Because you
That
got
was
a ton of
yesterday.
shit in here.
That was yesterday. Scroll back up. You can't miss the picture. She looks like a wet dog.
That's not very nice. I'm saying nice things about AOC right
Yes,
now
and I
because
am
there
under
it
no
is. I got it.
restrictions to do so.
All right.
But
I got the link now.
yeah, this was what the image it actually reminds me of is the first thing that came to mind when I saw it was the what was it, David Copperfield, the novel David Copperfield, and the little orphan boy's like, more please.
Oh yeah. What was that? That was
Look
Oliver
at
or
Tinch.
something.
You should go in there and give Tinch oh, he just gave me something that was an error. Access denied. What the hell?
All
He is trying to give me a virus.
right. Tinchy now has a wrench. Good job, Tinchy. You've earned it.
Well, he gave a bad
Go
link.
ahead and say something. That's for the chat. Gotcha.
Oh, does that?
I got you the links in the
I can't pull it in
in
Discord.
our chat.
Oh, power.
Oh,
Yeah,
I did
remember?
not. Oh, you can use it from the chat then?
Well, I thought I could because his isn't. When you click on that link he put in, what do you get?
Let me see. I get the article.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Because all I get is access denied.
Well, maybe they don't want us to talk about it. The powers that be don't
Mine
want us to
says
talk
the
about
owner of this website does not allow hot linking to that resource. The
it. Weird.
hell?
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, what do you want me to send it to you then?
Well, I'll just have to pull it in my. Well, you know what? Since the link's there for chat, I have it right here on my phone, so I can go with it that
Okay.
way. I was just going to be able to pull it up. That's just crazy. But anyway, what was interesting about this article is she was on a live show with an interview with Skullduggery podcast. And she kept making the claim that there were just so many things impeachable about Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, there's just so much. There's so much. And then they put her on point, and they said, okay, well, can you name 3 things?
Top 3. Yep.
3 things, right?
Yeah.
And she came up with a couple. She said that tax fraud was one of them. The top 3. Emoluments was her first, and then tax fraud was the second. But I mean,
So I kind of feel like an
fraud,
idiot right now. What is emoluments?
Emoluments is the emoluments clause for the president, which means that he has to step aside from his businesses so
Gotcha.
that they don't interfere with the presidency. So like all
Yeah.
of this,
I didn't know that had a name.
Yeah, they have. It's called the emoluments clause. So his hotel that's right by the White House, they've called into question the emoluments clause because he's having world leaders and dignitaries stay at his hotel. right? And they think that that's a breach of the emoluments clause. Some people in Washington do. But then she called out tax fraud, and I said, well, the first thought is tax fraud? We haven't even seen his taxes. How can we say there's tax fraud?
Yeah,
Right?
she's
Because
just throwing around
right?
allegations.
And then her response to the third one was, and number three, and she couldn't really come up
She
with
couldn't think
anything.
of the third one.
And they pointed out, they're like, we can't believe you didn't say Russia, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're gonna, that passion and motivation, like you were talking about, it's, if you're gonna stand there and say that somebody's impeachable for so many different things, well,
Yeah.
you had such a great list of things that we should do for the new Green New Deal, but you can't tell us really something hardcore that is impeachable about our president. Now, if he's violating the
Right.
emoluments clause, there's something to talk about, right? Is it impeachable?
Uh,
I don't know. It falls
I,
into
I,
this line, right?
I need to cut in real quick because we are now at 420.
Oh, that's perfect.
$420.
Somebody did that on purpose.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I know who it was. I'm not sure if he wants me to. I guess it's publicly on the page, so I guess I can say it. Yeah, it was Cameron from the chat.
And
Added the $20.
Nice job, Cameron. I like what you did there, but I am going to say this: while that's a fun number, it must not hold. We must go higher.
That's right. 420, blaze it for the sick kids. That's what I'm talking about.
So speaking of 420, guess what tomorrow is, folks? What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is 420.
It's 420. So in that regard, I also posted an article that I thought was kind of, it's awesome that everyone's given us segues. We're hitting segues. That's fantastic.
It is Hitler's birthday as well. That's true.
Do I?
It is Hitler's. Michael Vega was saying it's Hitler's birthday tomorrow. That's true too.
Is it really?
Yeah, and Columbine anniversary. All right, Michael Vega, calm down.
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not get Hitler anything this year. I feel.
I didn't either.
Should I feel bad?
Probably not. I don't think it'll be very popular. Plus, I mean, what do you get a man who has everything he wants?
Well, does he have everything he wants, or does he? Because he did want the world, and it's kind of like maybe not everything he wanted. But anyway, so in regards to 420, if we can get that link from the show suggestions in the chat,
I'll put it in the chat. I got it already.
There's an article out about how corporate America is gearing up for Weed Day. And I thought this was awesome because, of course, there's legislation that is on the table now to go ahead and decriminalize and legalize for recreational use in Washington. The 50% of the country is either legalized for recreational and or medical use. So this idea of marijuana becoming more mainstream is becoming more mainstream, right? So tomorrow, lots of companies are starting to do things. So select cities in the U.S. and Canada, and specifically Colorado, Lyft is going to be offering a $4.20 credit on a single ride tomorrow, which is awesome. Thanks, Lyft, for getting involved with that. Carl's Jr. Is using a Denver restaurant to market a hamburger infused with CBD. Get your burger and your buzz together.
That's awesome because
burger. It's a buzz burger.
Oh, that's a good name for it. It's also a good idea because it gets rid of your munchies and gets you stoned at the same time.
Actually, it is a
it's a CBD. I understand.
Non-intoxicating molecule, technically.
Technically, I don't know. I've had some CBD before, and it's not the same, but I don't know. It does kind of relax you more and kind of mellows you out.
I can promise you. I would guesstimate 50 to 75% of people who eat it will get a placebo effect.
Yeah, I can see that. I also like how it says here in the article, no Hallmark doesn't yet have a card to mark 420.
Which is surprising, right? You would
think. It is unfortunate.
So we are. There is a big Canadian company has a deal on the books with here in America to. Want to say they say it's to the tune of about $3.4 billion deal on the table, provided
Placenta
legalization. The
effect.
placenta effect, right? Okay, you
Gross.
know what? Somebody just showed us their issues. Um, but
That's awesome.
a I think it's $3.4 billion deal on the table with an American manufacturer grower, provided that legalization goes into effect here in the United States, which that's a major deal. They're going to buy that up and start manufacturing, producing weed for sale. Once legalization happens, which is good because this is I tell you this has me excited, as excited as people probably were right after Prohibition back in the early 1900s on alcohol was removed. Right, it was
Hmm.
one of the biggest boons in our economy because the money that flowed in, the tax dollars that flowed in, um, turned the economy around. It quite
Oh
literally
yeah,
ended the Great Depression, right?
yeah, absolutely, it did.
It was amazing, and marijuana stands to be the same thing. Now, I don't care if you use it or don't use it. The bottom line is the impact on the economy cannot be understated, it
Yeah,
or overstated.
it's
It
gonna be
is
really good.
it's going to be massive,
Absolutely.
and sicko mode on that economy. Yes, it will be. And people talk about how great Trump has made the economy, and I will say this: my feeling is that if the legislation goes through, yes. Our illustrious leader will take credit for it, because it should and probably will happen during his term as president, and he'll get that kudos, right? But
Oh
I'm
yeah,
cool with it. I honestly believe that the marijuana industry could be the thing that turns around the ever increasing debt that we still deal with, even with a booming economy, as they call it. Now I know it's trillions of dollars right now, but if we
but
can
yeah, I
start to
mean,
swing that number in the
our
other
economy
direction,
is based on our debt,
eh,
so we kind of need it.
thanks for the debate, faux show. No problem, Michael Vega. We will check you out
Yeah,
later. We'll
we'll
look for you
see
to
you later,
sneak
man.
back into the chat. So, I don't know too many people that aren't on board with the legalization of marijuana, and there's really no more. I can't think of any arguments that really stand. Um, there, the one argument that I have ever heard that I thought, well, maybe, is like once our entire population is high on weed, we're going to be ripe for invasion. It's like, you know,
Well, that was actually propaganda for keeping it illegal during the Cold War. Was saying that it's a Russian conspiracy to get all of our citizens stoned so that we'll be complacent and not fight back when they invade. But yeah, no, I mean the whole population isn't going to be stoned. Not everyone
no,
smokes weed.
no,
Like,
no. But
and they never have because I mean it's been legal for the past 5,000 years, other than the
well,
last 80.
well,
Like,
here's what I expect.
so
There is one thing I do expect is I expect that once when if it is legalized or when it's legalized, I'm expecting it's
mhm.
going to be. It's
Yeah,
inevitable.
absolutely.
But when it's legalized, there's going to be such a cloud of smoke over the entire United States that basically anybody who doesn't smoke is going to have a secondhand high. I mean,
Yeah,
it's going to look like they'll just have it'll be like a Cheech and Chong meme that can be put up. Here's America, just this
yeah.
huge cloud of smoke over us. I think it'll be awesome. That's not smog. I'm telling you, it's not smog.
It's not smog. It's smog.
Smog. Have you ever seen the movie Reefer Madness?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
one of my favorites. It's amazing.
If anybody out there
So
in the
good.
chat has never seen Reefer Madness, man, I tell you,
You
you gotta go
need to
watch
watch
it.
it.
It's
I mean, after this stream, of course.
right. But now, in that vein, there was another
Oh,
article that
J.
I.
Edgar is in the chat. What's
What up,
up?
J. Edgar? So it looked like 1977, exactly, just without the gas shortage, right?
Right.
Yeah, just higher prices on gas, but no shortage, right? You'll have enough. You'll have gas to go and get your Cheetos.
It's right. That's all you need it for.
Speaking of Cheetos, shameless plug. There we go. That's my
Oh, you know what?
fuel. I've got my fuel for the
Yeah,
show.
here's my snack right here,
Flavor
goldfish.
blasted.
That's right.
That's
Extra cheddar.
Flavor
Mmm.
blasted. I always thought that could stand as a good name for a porn movie. Um, it's one of John's favorites. Surprise,
Surprise,
surprise.
surprise. Yeah. Yeah,
um,
no, because it's just so ridiculous. It's just really funny. It's one of those movies that just they like you can tell it was made for propaganda, just
right.
because like they just blatantly lie and it's just
And then
oh, it's
and
great.
the blatant racism that was in it as well.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Remember it
yeah.
was the black guy that's high and going crazy on the weed, right? And he's going to kill all
No,
the.
no, it
There
was
was
some pure like white kid who was a perfect
right.
student and stuff before that, and then he
Right.
got into it and went criminally insane, as you do when you smoke weed. But yeah, no, I don't think there were actually any black people in
I
the
thought there
movie.
was one. What am I?
There might have been one.
Yeah.
I don't. It's been a long time, and it was in
Yeah.
black and white, so everyone was kind of both.
J. Edgar, I will be drinking energy drink from a local Wisconsin company. However, it won't be in their can. If the local company was paying me to drink out of their can, it would be in their
Be
can.
in there, can.
Wow,
Gotcha.
talk about capitalism.
I know, right?
My favorite is
I agree with
still
that though.
McCuck, little Adolf Hitler, model citizen until he took a
Yeah,
puff off a single joint. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and then, yeah, that was a great skit. So imagine that, but like in a movie.
right.
That's pretty
That's
much what it was.
right.
Yeah, it was pretty much what
And it
Reefer
was an
Madness is.
insane movie. It was amazing. It was one of the first big things. One of the first things Big Farm did that was just like, damn. And it was
Black and white
major.
films. So Stephen Ignoramus.
But I threw up another article in that vein because it was interesting. This company that makes cannabis pens, and they're calling them the Apple of weed. But if you look in the article, if you don't mind, John, throw that link up. It's the very last one that I posted in the show suggestions.
All right.
The key takeaway was the pictures that they have in there from inside one of their facilities, and I was like, holy crap! That it almost looks like one of the the soft serve yogurt places you go to, and over
Oh
there on the
yeah.
wall you see the different dispensers, and one's Bliss and this, that, and the other. So here, go pick the vape pen that gives you the specific mentality that you want. I was like, but it looks so antiseptic. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're definitely the apple of weed, right? I was, with a Genius bar and the whole 9 yards. But I'm like, okay, so that begs the question: if you're gonna go in and buy weed, right, in a legal weed shop, do you want to
Yeah.
go into one that kind of gives you more of that 1960s, 70s hippie feel? Or do you want to go into one that's more like a Starbucks coffee? Or do you want to go into one like this that's very antiseptic and clean? And, what's your preference, John? Or do you really care as long as they're handing you some weed?
I no, I'm an old school guy. I prefer like the old school methods, little bowl, little whatever. I don't really do the whole oils and all that nonsense. Just not a fan.
Well, the vape pens are supposed to be really, really good. As far
Yeah, no,
not
I've
just
seen them
good, but
before.
good for you, right?
Yeah,
And if you've ever vaped it, you know it's the
no, I have.
carcinogens.
I
You get
mean,
rid of those
yeah,
carcinogens, right? You're without that, and I do like it. I do think it kind of blows through your weed faster. But if they're
yeah,
making these pens are they're making an oil with it, and so you're vaporizing oil,
yeah.
which is much better.
The
Um,
thing is, it's too easy to have too much of it. Really quickly. It'll
it can
get you
be.
to.
It's called
Yeah.
self control, John, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna take one vape and see where it takes me,
No, so you always got
and
to do
then
two. So you
because
don't
no,
understand.
you gotta learn where the
What if
limits
the
are.
what if the first one doesn't work? You always got to take two,
You'll find
just in
out.
case.
You'll find out within 10 minutes. All you got to do is wait 10 minutes and see what it
Yeah.
does, right? Because but to be honest with you, the easiest way to overindulge is whenever you do it in edibles.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
look,
That's
gummy
the
bears.
yeah.
Pop, 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 pop.
Oh yeah.
Oh, shit.
Especially if you wait 10, 15 minutes, you're like, this isn't working. I need to have more. And
Wait,
then it's like, oh
I
god.
wasn't supposed to eat the whole pan of brownies?
Yeah. Oh man. I know someone who's actually in this chat right now who did that with like 3 brownies, I think. Ended up in the hospital because he was, freaking out.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
And it's really, it doesn't do anything horrible to you, but yeah, except right up there in your head when you just like
Yeah,
that paranoia grabs a hold of your testicles and tries to pull them up through your spinal column.
right.
You're like, holy shit, we're all gonna die.
Yeah,
I've been at that point. In fact, you might have seen me recently at that point,
I did. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
like 2 weeks ago, was it?
Something like that. Yeah, yeah. That's
Mm-mm-mm.
true. I mean, you weren't quite that bad. You didn't end up in the hospital or anything, but yeah.
Well, it's the funny thing is, and I realized what it was, ultimately what it was, because we were playing a D&D session and we were trying to remember everything that happened from the session before.
Yeah.
So I imbibe primarily because of PTSD, right? High
Hmm.
anxiety, high stress, that kind of thing, and so there I was. I was on a super high mellow. Well, I was, yeah, but one of the reasons why is so I don't dream at night. Like if I dream at night, I have these horrific nightmares. Everything involves death, pain, whatever. I don't want to know what I'm dreaming about, and it
Yeah.
allows me to go blank. It's just blackness. But I still dream. I just don't remember anything about it. So when we were sitting there at the table trying to remember what happened, I had obviously had a dream within the last couple of nights, very similar and akin to our gaming, and so these memories of that dream were trying to crash back in while I'm trying to draw memories, and
Oh wow.
it was actually causing this mind fuck in my head that was actually amped up my stress level and really freaked me out a little bit. So it was, and it's the first time I've ever dealt with that. I've never had that happen before where one of my dreams actually tried to impose itself into my reality,
Yeah, that
um,
is pretty crazy.
because I remembered nothing about that dream until that event happened. It was very interesting, and it's one that I have to remember. Um, ooh, I'm going to sneeze. Do you mind if
Oh
I
no.
sneeze, John?
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Ah, you did it. God damn it. Robert.
There. Okay.
Oh man, this is so unprofessional.
Oh yes, because I can handle bodily. I'm in control of when I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, CG Edgar was challenging you. You said you won't do it.
Oh
He
well,
did do it.
I was nice enough to mute it, right? I'm
Why?
surprised. I'm
Earth.
surprised I only got by with one. It's interesting. Have you ever noticed how many times do you sneeze when you sneeze?
Usually two, sometimes three, but usually two.
Watch as you get older. I used to sneeze 2 times through my
Oh, see, we still heard you sneeze.
through my 20s, through my 40 into my 40s. I sneeze 3 times. Now, when I sneeze, I'm at 4 sneezes. It's really weird. It's like as you get older, the amount of times you sneeze. Because my
Yeah.
grandfather, when he would get on a sneezing fit, he would sneeze like 20 times.
Oh, that would piss me off so much.
My wife does the same thing. She'll get on. She may sneeze like 10 or 12 times if she gets caught sneezing. Because if
Yeah.
she sneezes once, I'm like, oh no, here we go. you know, and it
She's just
doesn't.
looking for attention at that point, though. That's just
Hold
ridiculous.
on. How did you hear me sneeze with the mute?
He's probably just fucking with you.
Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It's a very monstrous sneeze. I got to say, I made one of the most offensive gay jokes I've ever made on this very show.
Yeah, because I
So
said it was unprofessional. I forget which one it was.
I think it was when he came out.
I guess that is kind of a joke, isn't it? I'm sorry, J. Edgar. I love you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I had to do it for the. It was funny. I'm sorry. I might have coughed at the same time. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because my mic was muted.
Classic.
If you heard me sneeze, then yeah, there's some power in that thing because your guys are what,
Yeah.
15 miles away from me?
Right.
Like, I'm going to have to get that checked out.
Yeah. That'd be really bad. You'll have a knock on your door here soon. You're like,
So,
what the hell was that?
let me see if I understand legislation right. So if the legislation for legalizing marijuana is on the table in
Oh,
Congress, it can go through without an election and a vote, right? It just has to go through the House and Senate.
wait. What was it? I was reading the chat. I was reading what J. Edgar said. It was when I ran my first D&D campaign. Me, not J. Edgar.
Yeah, I'm.
I don't remember what joke we made. We say a lot of things and we talk for a long time. I don't remember most of the things I say.
John probably doesn't remember yesterday very much.
Yeah, I
Do
remember
you?
yesterday. Yeah, it
Do
was a
you?
good time.
Um,
Yeah.
what was I saying when you so rudely interrupted me? What did I need to repeat? Oh, as
About
far as
something, yeah.
legislation, so they have the legalization for marijuana on the table in the House.
Hmm.
So it can go through the House and the Senate without having to come to a vote during the elections or anything. Because we never vote on legislation in Washington, right? We only vote
We
for who's
don't.
president and who we're going to send
Well,
as
so,
representatives. We vote on local level stuff.
yeah.
But those things can move through within sometime this year if it manages to go through, right?
So what would happen is it has to go through. They have to vote for it in the House
The House first,
to
right?
send it to the Senate, which then votes on it,
And then he
and
has
then
the option to veto or
or pass it or sign off on it. Yeah,
do you think he would veto it?
I doubt it. There's so much support for it that for legalization that yeah, I can't see it not passing. I am the Senate. It's a
I
good
am the
one.
senator. No, he has to recognize the economic windfall of it. That would be, I can guarantee you, that would be his motivation for going ahead and just letting it go on by. If the House says yes, the Senate says yes. I I know it'll. Excuse me.
Nice.
It should get through the House because it's the House is kind of it leans towards Democrat right now.
Hmm.
But I think more Republican lawmakers are on board with this as well, enough that it can get through the Senate, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't see why not.
This is the
I
only
don't see why.
reason why I want them to shut up about the Mueller investigation and get on with
Right.
work,
Move on.
right?
Yeah. Move
Um,
the fuck on.
Now that doesn't mean I want them to. I want them to because as we'll talk about in the next segment, I think there are some things that do need to be discussed from that report at a congressional level. But so hopefully, I don't know. I don't know how long it'll take. I mean, once the bill is put forward, there are time frames, and I want to say that overall that time frame adds up the amount of time it can sit in the House and then in the Senate, and then going forward this and the other. I want to say that like it can encompass like a 6 month period before a bill becomes a law once it passes through all the channels and everything. So who knows? Because they managed to put it in during the right whenever they opened the government back up. They had it ready. They're like, here, slide this
Yeah.
in and get it on the table.
Yeah. I remember we talked about that on the show
So,
when it was a thing.
so
Oh,
keep your fingers crossed. Maybe 2019 is the year.
and yes, Tenchi has a great question for the chat, but I think we should talk about it as well. If there was a P tape and you had to watch it, would you prefer if it's Donald Trump peeing on someone or someone peeing on him?
For me, the Schadenfreude says I got to see him doing it.
Really? I'm surprised by that because I'm the
Shot.
opposite. I'd rather see him get peed on.
Oh, him. Oh, someone peeing on it. Well, that actually,
Right.
just FYI, and I'm going to point this out. That is going to be something that we'll discuss in this segment on the Mueller investigation because that
Yes.
tape
Yeah.
was talked about. Um, just for an FYI, according to what this says, apparently he wasn't actually involved in the peeing. He was watching it go on with the prostitute. But that aside, if I
So
had
that's
to
not
see
even that
one,
bad.
if
I
I had to
mean,
see one or the other, I would like to see him doing it now. And I said it's from the Schadenfreude, and I'll tell you why. And this is not gay at all, but I just got to know. Like, I want to see his hand on it just to see how big it actually is.
right.
You know?
No.
I
Yeah.
want to see if it's a micro or a
I'm with you
mini.
on that.
Is it
I'm
micro?
with you
Is
on
it
that.
mini? Do the hands suit?
It's just
Um,
one of those things. It's like a car crash. You don't want to look at it, but you have to. You
right.
have to see. Yeah. Yeah. Since she's
It's
got the
not
good
gay,
quote in
but
there.
I got to see it. See,
That's
nobody
right,
said the word
Robert,
beautiful.
2019. Yeah.
Nobody said beautiful.
I don't know. He's got it's quoted. It's in
No, no,
quotation.
no.
So
Just because he put it in
it's quoted.
quotation, I've got
I
it
don't
on.
know.
I've got it on video.
Robert, who would just go on the internet and tell lies? Who would just do that? I mean, people
Uh,
don't do that. Come on, no one would ever do that.
I can think of 3 people right now that would.
Me, you, and Tenchi.
Me, you, and um. Well, there's just
I
so
don't.
many.
Oh yeah, yeah.
See
That's a
now,
good throwback.
number
Yeah.
3, AOC, hit it.
Oh shit! I have to do it right
Yeah,
now.
you're on the spot.
Fuck. Um. Oh, fuck. Let's see. Lots of
I
dead
love
air now.
Stephen
Is it?
Ignoramus. If I'm going to watch Kim K get fucked, that's not such a bad thing. And
So
Sodom get
dumb.
hung. I didn't watch that. I'm going to watch
Donnie
Donnie
P.
P on some bitches. Don't you speak about my future wife that
Oh, Jay.
way.
Yeah, I told you. We actually talked about that earlier. Jay mentioned that. Uh, and actually, no, I've said two nice things about her so far.
He has. He said that she is passionate and that she's
Hmm.
motivated. But now we're looking for number 3.
Yeah. I guess she's.
Because, John, if you can't do this, you got to start trimming the beard.
No, I don't.
That's the
That's not.
penalty.
No, no.
You got to
That's
trim it
not
a
the
little bit. You got
penalty.
to cut a quarter of an inch off.
No, I mean, I'm sure I can do it. I probably need to go look at some stuff.
She can use that instant pot. What the heck?
She can probably make a mean drink. I'll give her that. She can probably make a
Do you know what
really
an
good
instant? Do you know what
alcoholic
an?
drink.
That's a probably. Do you know what an instant pot is?
I mean, she had a job for a while. Instapot, isn't that?
It's a cooker.
Yeah, yeah, like a little
It's a
cooker.
really fast
Yeah,
pressure cooker. It's
yeah.
like pressure cooker on crack.
And Tenchi says for some reason Stephen Ignoramus isn't showing up in Top Chat, only in Live Chat. It's because Stephen Ignoramus is too controversial for Top Chat. Sorry to say, we just can't have him and can't see him in Live Chat at all. He's popped up once in a while.
Yeah,
He
I've
said
seen
he's
him.
already yellowish.
Yeah,
That's
I've
what he
seen
said
him.
months ago.
Yeah. I wonder. I don't know. It's probably because you guys don't know how to work the internet.
He's being shadow banned.
Do you
It's a
guys not know how to
conspiracy,
work the interweb? Come on.
right? The internet, what is it? The internet superhighway or something like that? What was this stupid?
Oh, there it is. Uh,
Start sharpening the ban hammer. Wait, you don't sharpen what?
right, sharpen the hammer. Oh my god. Who did
Why
we
would
give
you
our
do
damn
that?
wrench to? What the hell were we
Yeah,
thinking?
that was probably a mistake. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Fucking thing
So,
sucks.
what's your third thing, John? And not probably makes a good drink.
Oh come on, I can't do makes a good drink. Oh, she had the job for a while.
Jesus
She
Christ,
didn't
John!
lose her
I could
job.
think of one right now, very quickly.
Well, don't cheat. 'Cause I'm trying to think now. What was the last thing I saw her do?
Oh, that's
Mm,
sad.
yeah, it
Oh,
is sad. I actually thought I had more than this. I think I did. I'm just forgetting what the things I had. I didn't write them down because fuck.
how do you know
Yeah,
that, J. Edgar? How do
and
you
J.
know
Edgar,
that?
I can't use that as as one of my
How do you
reasons.
know? How do you know? I want to know because I want to see the video.
Right? Can you send that over?
Are you sure you don't want a little help?
I might need a little bit of help. Fuck.
You said you just watched her recently. You've watched her a few times speaking in Congress, right?
Yeah, but I
Does
wouldn't
she
say that
speak
she's.
well?
I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say she's articulate? I think she articulates
I don't.
quite well.
All right, fair enough. I
I mean,
guess I can go with
she
that
stays
one.
on point when she's talking.
Does the chat accept that? Because I feel kind of dirty about that, but it's really not easy to think of something good about her. It's just really, really not.
Uh oh, J. Edgar doesn't. Wait. Oh, he doesn't know for a fact.
Um,
I think is what he's saying. Yeah.
Does she
Let's see,
support decriminalization of marijuana? There you go. I'll take that one. Yeah,
This week.
I know.
No,
I know.
just
It's not
take
going to
it.
be easy. You can't just put me on the spot like that. Give me some time. I need to. I don't know.
In what
Need to
universe
Google
is
some
that
stuff
word
better.
soup articulating?
That's what I was saying. I don't think that can count. I
Wait,
don't think that she's a good
she
orator.
expresses all articulating means is that she can put into words her thoughts. She can put them out there well. It's not like she just goes
I don't
out
think
there
that's true.
rambling the whole time. Because I've always gotten the sense when I've seen her speaking in Congress that she memorized whatever it was she was saying. She does like she did. She's so close to having been in high school and college that she still memorizes things as opposed to
Mm.
going off the cuff. Um,
I don't know. I don't think that she's a good
because
orator.
look at it this way: compare to how she responded in the live stream that she was on that we just talked about earlier. There, she's and she's just throwing word salad
Yeah.
out to try and chew up time. Whereas when she's actually speaking in Congress, she's actually delivering a message.
Yeah.
However whacked out it is, she's delivering a message.
Gonna finish up your vlog, your vlog, J. Edgar. All right, man. We'll see you later.
Peace out, J. Edgar.
And he
We will
called us
see you
F
later.
sticks.
He
I
called
am
us
not an
what?
F stick. F sticks. I am not an F stick. Thank you.
What sport do you use an F stick in? Because I know you use
Good question.
an L stick for hockey and field hockey,
Yeah.
but what do you use an F stick for?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, what would
Oh,
that even be for?
I know what an F stick is. Those are those little those little floss picks you get.
Oh yeah,
They,
those
they
little
look
like
like
yeah,
an
little-
F, right? That's an F stick.
Kind of.
Thanks, you've called us floss.
The one I play with is nice.
J. Edgar, you've never played with AOC in
Yeah.
person.
That's true. Man, I'm
Uh,
gonna have to like really step it up on the
yeah, you're gonna
thinking
have
of
to.
nice things to say about her.
'Cause we'll let you go with these last two. We'll call it 4, but that's the last gimme. You got to come up with 6 more, brother. 6
Oh
more.
fuck me!
And
All
you
right.
never know when we're gonna hit you with the next one.
God damn it!
I mean, I'll leave it out there to chat. If you wanna hit John at a random time and demand the next one, feel free. But we're gonna get these 10 out of him, or my name isn't Boomer X.
Boomerangs. That sounds like a shitty Marvel superhero.
Right? An old, shitty Marvel superhero. Thanks for stopping
Yeah.
by. So let's see, John. We're gonna talk about something else controversial, slightly controversial, and I thought we could talk about. Oh no! Not we'll skip that for the moment. Did you see the article I put in about the Mali government?
Mali government.
Yeah, in Mali, and you'll see it. It's an article from the BBC, not that BBC, the one that's in the UK.
Yeah.
The
Orange Man bad.
there's an upsurge of violence in the country because there's been no confidence in the government, this that, and the other. So the Prime Minister of Mali and his entire fucking government just fucking up and quit. They're just like, fuck it. All right, we're out of here. Do your thing.
That's awesome.
Go.
Yeah,
just like, we're not even going to put up with a
article.
fucking revolt. We're not going to fight you. Fine, we're
Yeah.
out. Peace.
We're out.
There's-
Yep.
We're going to go to the store and get some cigarettes.
And they never came back.
They never come back.
That is racist.
That
God
is-
damn it.
How is that racist?
Yeah,
Is that oh, it's to all the
It
little
is.
kids that lost their dad that way?
exactly. Yeah, you're a horrible person. No, we care about the kids here at the generational gap, Robert. All right.
I know we care about kids. But,
Yes, and you're trying to make
and we
them
don't
single.
care about,
like,
and we
single
don't care
mom.
about. No, we don't care about their fathers that run away to go get cigarettes.
Ooh, damn.
Sometimes moms go to get cigarettes too.
Yeah, not
I
usually
watch
though.
TV.
Jesus. How much longer do we have on this? Oh shit.
Right? Yeah, a long time.
Only have like 11 hours to go. It's not. It's
No, but
starting off pretty
the
good.
violence had been ramped up. There were a bunch of herders there, like I guess sheep. I don't know,
Herders.
herders. They herd animals there.
Obviously.
because it's primary food source. I would assume, seeing as how Mali kind of looks like they don't do a lot of agriculture as much as.
Yeah, I've never even heard of Molly. It's
Really?
insane. Herders. It's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, what the fuck are you saying? It's
Stephen
like-
Ignoramous talked about the
yeah.
Mali thing on his stream. He'll have
Yeah,
some
I was-
insight into this too.
Yeah, I was watching his stream before we got on our call.
That doesn't
Robert.
mean he talked about
He
it
always
on
does.
this episode. He didn't say
I think
which
that's I think
episode.
that's what he was saying. I don't know.
And if it did, why didn't you hear it?
That's what I was about to say. I didn't hear it because of that. Because I was talking to you instead.
Now, Stephen Ignoramous says he wishes we could hold a no confidence vote with our government. So,
That would be awesome. Yeah.
do you with our government, or both the government and the leadership? I think there's a distinction there, right?
Yes, he was today.
Okay, but you didn't hear it. See, and that makes it sad because then that means you didn't really pay attention.
Well, I was talking to you, so
Don't put it
which one
on
am I
me.
supposed
Don't
to? I am
don't
putting it on.
don't. No, you're trying victim mentality.
Yep. It can't possibly be my fault.
So
Entirety of the government. That would be cool. However, who does the vote of no confidence is the government. So they're not going to be like, do we think we're incompetent? All I, raise your hand if you, for I, yay or nay, whatever it is. I don't think that's going to happen. That's what happened in the UK, at least, was that they were like, they did the vote of no confidence in Theresa May, and it was the Parliament that held the vote of no confidence. She barely squeezed by.
Jefferson said we should. Now, see, I like that though.
See, I know, but I don't trust anyone to renew it. At least as it is now.
Yeah, but that's the. It's this idea. It's interesting when people say things like that because it's this idea that if you don't feel like at any point since it was instituted that every 35 years there's nobody to trust to update it, to keep it current or whatever, to address
No, I'm sure there were before.
How do we trust the people, the framers? Right? How do we trust the original framers if we can't trust anybody now to do the proper
they actually have something tangible that is on the table. Said, here they are. It's right here. It's codified. This is it.
Well, they had impetus.
If we change it every 35 years, they're going to be like, we don't need this anymore. We don't need that anymore. I mean, they're already ignoring the Constitution enough. I don't think they need to actually be able to get rid of it.
This goes back to the passion motivation argument. They had passion because we had just come out from under the thumb of rule by England, right? We had gained our liberty. So they had passion, thus motivating them to set up these ideals and put forward a foundation for this country. Now, I don't know how much passion would be there because I think the motivations behind how it would be reworked would be questionable.
Right.
Yeah, the motivations.
The motivation behind
there would be passion for that same thing,
right? And it wouldn't be like, let's give more freedom to the people. Let's restrict ourselves more. No, it's going to be, we want the power to do this, so we need to take this out. It's going to be taking things out. It's not going to be putting anything in, ever. It's never going to happen. They're not going to stop taking more rights. They're not going to restrict themselves. That never happens.
Well, let me ask you this. If it still followed the same process of how it should be amended. So, for instance, if it was said, okay, no, you can't take anything out, but you can make amendments that nullify an amendment, which they did say for prohibition, right?
Right. Right.
So
I believe the only ones that
follows
can't be
and it
touched
follows
that way are the Bill of Rights, the first 10. I think are the only ones that can't be touched. They can't be nullified by future amendments. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% on that. I'm pretty sure
that is, to a certain extent, that is how they set it up. Those specific 10 can't be manipulated. Yet technically,
the Supreme Court can manipulate them by different interpretations.
The Supreme Court does do those kind of interpretations, and we are, of course, we're going to talk about that. Some of that's going to be brought up in the debates because there are some very salient points there in as far as what the Supreme Court has done that do lend credit to the argument I make, or the arguments I make about the Second Amendment and gun control, because the Supreme Court seems very friendly to the Second Amendment in many senses. But I don't know. What would you say, John? I mean, would you a vote of no confidence in our government Yes or no? Do you have confidence in our government? Would you want to see our government retooled?
Not the way that it functions, but I would like to see different people in general. Like just generally,
Yeah,
I would
but
like
you
to
but you
see
get
a
that
changing of the guard.
you get that option every election cycle.
Kind of. I mean, you get mostly like I think Futurama did it amazingly, where it was like a clone, where like they're two people, but they were like the same. They were the same person, but they were on either side, and they're just like my opponent does this, and like they had it was really funny. I can't remember exactly what was going on, but it was really funny. But that's what their candidates were. It was like clone one or clone two,
Um,
and so that's kind of how it's
so
kind
I'm
of
gonna
how I see it. Where it's just even if you change the face, it's the same things are still going on.
well I'm gonna put this out there as a little crumb to chew on. If we were to have a vote of no confidence in our government, I believe there's a causal link in a vote of no confidence for the Constitution itself, because the Constitution frames how our government is set up and
Hmm.
how it does things, right? And I understand that corruption blends in, and as time goes on, these kind of things, but what our government, the foundation of our government and its workings are set up in the Constitution. So if we have a vote of no confidence in the government itself, the institution that sits there, would we not have to revamp the Constitution as well, or we just continue on with the status quo of keeping the government set up the same way? And again, that's just an election cycle. I mean, the best that you can come up with for that is setting term limits, adjusting term limits on
Mm.
things, because the two are hand in hand. If you have a vote of no confidence, if you have no confidence in the government, then you also are almost saying you have no confidence in the Constitution, which is the govern in a I guess I'll quote unquote the governing body for our government, or the governing
Yeah,
document
it's
for our government. How they do it,
right.
how it's set up. Does that make sense? I mean, wouldn't that kind of go hand in hand? One hand washes the other.
Well, I mean, if a vote of no confidence is no confidence in the individual, not in the government structure itself.
Well, that's the thing.
I
I
like
don't
what
know.
Tenchi says in the chat there. Let the people control the government directly using cell phone votes. Fuck it.
But
Yeah,
see, but see now
like
that
American Idol or some shit.
No, actually, there was a show I watched, and I forget what it was, and it was an interesting. It was very interesting because it was a true democracy, and it was done through social media, and people had you could like or unlike something that they did, and if a
Mm.
person reached a certain level of unlike, they were terminated from society.
That's how China's working right now.
And it was all
That's what
done
they're
by
doing.
mass vote.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Everyone had
China's
it,
doing.
and everyone was expected to vote, right?
Hmm.
Through their mobile devices, through social media. And it was one of those things where it's like, okay, this could be the downfall of, that true democracy where everything is decided on by the people. The Orville. Was it what? Oh, yes, the Orville.
It
That's
might
right.
have
It
been
was
the
an episode
Orville.
of the Orville, and they went down to
Oh,
a
Seawall.
planet that ran like that. What's up, Seawall? Good call. Thank you for helping remind me what it was.
It's like the purge, but with bureaucracy. It's exactly what China is doing at the moment. But
Yeah.
instead of like terminating you, you just can't do anything. Can't go anywhere. You can't spend money. You can't like 'cause no one will do business with you because it's bad for their social credit. So
It's funny you should mention that. So I'm going to ask you to put another link up because I saw something today that I found interesting,
all
and
right.
it kind of feeds into this, this idea of freedom of the press. If you go in, you'll see a picture of Tiananmen Square. That's
Okay.
the
Yeah, I saw that
article with
one.
the Tiananmen Square. That China, a video came out, and it's for a camera company called Leica, Leica. I'm assuming that's the pronunciation of it. But and it's their cameras were featured at the end of this, and one of the images they shown is of the Tiananmen Square incident where Tank Man was out there protesting.
Yeah,
He
Tank
stopped the
Man.
line of tanks, right?
Yep.
And then, of course, once they took him out of the street, no one knows whatever happened to him after that.
Oh yeah.
But China, the Chinese government was very upset about it. They do have such control over their media. Like the
Oh yeah.
population wasn't even allowed to comment on posts in regarding this. So the population was finding ways to, covertly and subvert that by making posts other places and hashing in the Leica camera company. But the article goes on to talk about how much of a lockdown China has put
Mhm.
on Tiananmen Square. Like you can't do memorials. You can't do anything in
No.
regards to this. They follow a process where that whole fucking thing never existed. That's what they want to have happen. Is they just want it out of the minds of the people. Never want to see it in media. Nothing. And it's
Yeah.
like, sorry folks, that's a part of your fucking history. Stand up and
Yeah.
own it. But that is some amazing media control that they have. And again, it's as this kind of mindset, it's spreading in Europe. I see this kind of mindset spreading in Europe, where that kind of control over speech, you start controlling speech, the press is next. And I'm sure in England they have probably more control over the press than anybody would want them to. But of course, they don't observe the same rights that we do with freedom of the press and freedom of speech necessarily, right? They don't have a constitution guaranteeing that shit, right? But, are we on a slippery slope? That I see things like what China does, and I realize that this is possible. Like any country
Yeah.
with the right means and access could do this to their population, and that's
Mhm.
crazy. I mean, think of the things that we could just obliterate from our history, in a sense, with that kind of media control. And don't think for a minute that our government wouldn't mind getting rid of a few things here and there
Oh
that
yeah.
we have in our past.
Which is why the First Amendment is so important, and we shouldn't be trying to retool it. That's the freedom
That's
of the
it.
press,
So
and we
Seawall
need that.
says, if you type that event name in Chinese characters into an internet game, any Chinese players will be disconnected. How's that for some shit?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, that's a troll move right there,
Oh,
right?
fuck yeah, it is.
It's
Yeah.
like, dude, I keep getting obliterated by. Fuck it.
Wow, that was racist.
Well, I don't know. I don't
Holy
know.
shit.
That was that racist?
That was very racist.
That's the best Chinese I can do. That's the
I mean, the only way it would have been more
I could
racist
have.
if you did this with your eyes,
No,
made
what would
them.
have been racist if I had been like Kung Pao pork, Szechuan chicken?
No,
That would have been racist.
that's just delicious.
Is it? Is it really,
Yeah,
John?
absolutely.
I mean,
Are
it
you kidding
depends.
me?
Really, it depends on where you get it.
Yeah, that's
We did
true.
determine that
Oh, I'm being told we're up to 8 now. 8 people watching. Fuck
hashtag
yeah. Eight
Rob is
people
now
heard
altering.
about me. That's right.
We did
He
determine
said it
off
in a
mic
hashtag,
a
so it
week
must be
ago
true.
that that you only have a taste for Americanized Chinese food.
Yeah, I like orange chicken and like General Tso's. Yeah,
I know that you eat orange chicken though, just because that's your feeble way of supporting the orange man, who is bad.
yeah. Who is bad, right? Whoa, whoa, with your camera, whoa.
I thought we'd go on a little ride.
Yeah, make some people throw up out there, man.
Well, if our show isn't doing it, you
We
know,
gotta make it happen
right?
somehow.
We've got to find a way to get them. So, so how How is that possible, though? I mean, really, isn't that like some amazing technological advance to be able to control what 1.5 billion people's internet and social media and everything? I mean, the scale of that has to be astronomical, right?
Yeah,
I mean, how easy is that? And how easy is it for us to do it? I mean, where does the control start? Like, Do they have one major modem like in the house of government? They have one modem, and then that just it sends out to everybody, so they control it from there. I don't know. Man,
Yeah.
of course, they do have some of the best hackers on the planet, so it's probably not too difficult.
Not as good as some of those Russian lobster farms.
Hey,
Those guys are some pretty good hackers.
throw that link again for GoFundMe. We want to keep people apprised. Good job, Tenchi. We're doing a live
Yeah,
stream, St.
way to
Jude's.
way to earn that wrench, bruh. Let me go ahead and send the link out again.
So Seawall says they built the system from day one to do this. Yeah, I can
Oh,
imagine. Yeah,
Tenchi already got it. Look at that. Before I could even do it.
look at him. That's our boy right there.
Look
That's
at
our
him.
boy.
That's why he gets the wrench.
It's- I'm glad.
Good boy, Tenchi.
I'm
Good
glad I'm
boy.
related to that guy. What do you think, John? I mean, do you think we would ever reach that point? Do you think we could reach that point? Do you think 1984 could happen here? Are we are
Oh
we
yeah, it's
are we
certainly
seeing the
possible.
slow move towards that as the culture wars take its toll on our
Yeah,
government and its policies?
I think that there are people who would like to see that happen. I think there are people who are gaining momentum who would like to see that happen. So maybe not in our lifetime, but it certainly could happen. It's definitely out in the realm of possibility.
I mean, it's this kind of mindset that you know it's these little issues, even non-issues, that just get so blown out of proportion these days. Like, for
Hmm.
instance, I put another article in that focuses on the TSA.
Jesus.
Right? Hey, we said we were going to talk about bullshit news stuff today. What you don't want me? Hey, I'm trying to segue here, John. Just let me do my thing. Come on, work with me.
I
I
just
mean,
laughed at you.
okay, you know what? Hold on. I just realized something. I need number five.
Number five.
Oh,
So
number
she
five.
is
Okay.
she is I think equally good as Donald Trump at getting people riled up and pissed off, and it works in her favor because it keeps her in the news. So she's very good at manipulating the press and the people who her detractors, people who don't like her. So I think
And
that's something that she's good at.
now, is that a double-edged sword between a positive and a negative?
I mean, it depends on.
It's good that she's able to do that, right? But the negative
It's
is
a
is
skill that she has.
what she's actually getting her
Well, so
face in out there.
I disagree with the things that she says, but I think that it's a it's a good way to stay in the minds and the eye of the public, and a way of getting reelected.
Okay, one thing to touch back, and that's a good point. And Tenchi, he agrees. Bad press is still good press,
Still,
right?
that's right. Yeah,
So our system from day one was decentralized, thus would require crazy levels of retooling, i.e., we would
yeah,
need to shut down the internet for a while. Now, I will
that's
say
true.
this: and Tenchi responded. He said, "We already know the
Hmm.
CIA has access to almost any and all U.S. internet traffic. I do not think it would take such a large retooling of the system." Now, my question is this then, and if someone wants to enlighten me, if our system is decentralized, that flies in the face of what is making blockchain technology so popular, is that
Hmm.
blockchain itself is truly decentralized.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so is our system truly decentralized from the standpoint of how it's originally set up? That's because I've heard people say that our system is decentralized, but is it? I mean, then what makes blockchain so great about being decentralized? Oh, he's talking the hardware backbone of the system itself. And where is the heart of our internet anyway? Where do the tubes start?
You ever see that one episode of South Park where like the internet goes out, and so like they have like one bar of internet, so they have to ration it and everything? Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh, it was really funny. Yeah, so they have like this one spot in the country out in California, I think, or yeah, I think it was out in California where they had internet in one spot and on one computer. So like you had to take a number and wait your turn to be able to go in and use the computer. But the internet was just like a huge router in a military bunker. Like it was really funny. It was just a huge router, and to solve the problem, they just had to unplug it, plug it back in, and the whole country had internet again.
See,
It
that's what
was
I
hilarious.
picture in China. That's what I'm
Right.
picturing in China, right?
Yeah.
But you know who I wish we had here to really answer these questions? The man who invented it all.
Al Gore.
Al Gore. If we had
Yeah,
Al
get Al
Gore here,
Gore.
he could answer these questions for you,
That's right. And he can warn us about Man Bear Pig
right?
as well.
Because actually, the internet itself. Do you know the if and I hope I don't misquote because I'm pretty sure I remember this. Do you remember where the internet started?
It was a government thing, wasn't it?
No, it was a university thing. It was
Oh, okay.
a think basically kind of a think tank university think tank thing where they set up this way to communicate back and forth where they could all access internet stuff. And I don't know what that link goes to.
Ooh, scary.
Oh no, he's putting up the link for.
For the I'm at the internet. Yeah, yeah. It's just a big router.
Oh, the router, the router, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was, and that's where it kind of, if I remember correctly, that's where it started at a university level. Because surprisingly enough, it seemed there's a lot of great things, a lot of great technological
Yeah.
advances that we get from research at universities, right? And some not so great. I mean, we've seen some failures here in Florida. What was it? The University of Florida, UF.
Mhm.
They were the ones. I think it was UF that was tasked with coming up with a way to deal with the mosquitoes, and then they created
Oh yeah.
they created love bugs, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oops, didn't
Oops.
work," and the love bugs they've gone crazy.
And they get all over your car,
Right? It is like fuck.
especially when you go over the St. John's Bridge.
Right? Oh
Oh
God,
my
yes,
God, it's so
yes.
bad. There's just clouds of them, and then you just go right through, and your front bumper is just covered in bugs. It's nasty.
But you
The
know what?
windshield as well.
And I know this is digressing a little, but here in Florida, I've noticed something that's kind of made me a little weirded out about climate right now. Right?
Oh, apparently you're being fake newsed right now. Apparently that's an old myth.
What about
Well,
the love
so
bugs?
it might be an old myth, but Tenchi, Robert is an old man, so
What
that's
about
where
the
he's gonna
love
get it
bugs?
from.
I thought.
I guess so. I imagine that's what he's talking about.
I think they're putting out fake news that is a myth, so that they don't have to bear the
So
burden of it anymore.
right, so
So
they
they
don't have
got
to be
tired
so
of
embarrassed.
lawsuits. You're the bastards. There's going to be a goddamn class action lawsuit against this university by everybody in Florida. 1911 officially described and named in 1940.
Why did it
Nice.
take so
Did
long?
not know that. Maybe were they just trying to reverse engineer them so they would eat mosquitoes? I don't know. So it's a myth. So the love bug myth has been debunked, and they really don't fuck up your paint job on your car either. That's
Right, that's just a myth as
apparently
well.
that's a myth as well. But
Yeah, they fuck up your car though. They don't care. Oh man.
but no, I was. What was I going to say? Damn it, that Tenchi.
Uh,
He drove my thought right out of my mind. I had something salient.
yeah.
I had it right on the tip. There. Um, but no, the climate here in Florida. That's what it was. So love bugs came early this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because typically it's April and September. And I noticed this last year a little bit that they were showing up in like early August as opposed to in September. And the reason I
Hmm.
mark September is because my birthday's in September, and there's always love bugs around here in Florida during my birthday month. And then I always mark April because, of course, there's 420. There's Easter and all these things, and love bugs are a part of that. Going out doing
Yeah.
Easter egg hunts, and you have to bat out the. But
Hmm.
this year, love bugs came early, and now, of all things, June bugs are already starting to show up.
Oh yeah.
2 months early. Now, technically, they're called June bugs because that's the normal time of year. But you
Hmm.
notice we had a very unseasonably warm winter this year, right?
Yeah.
It really didn't start getting cold, but just a little bit of cold in February and the beginning,
Hmm.
and some in March. And even those temperatures, we never actually hit a freeze. We saw one
You
light
know,
frost one morning this year.
Robert, I think it's a little too early in our stream to be devolving to talking about the weather.
No, I was
Think we-
talking about love
No, I know.
bugs and
I know.
climate change. This is about climate change.
Oh, okay. Now we're
Green
spinning it
New
that way.
Deal. Um, no, it's something interesting I've noticed about these little things that are indicate that there's some climate differences here in our state, which tend to lead me to believe that that's not necessarily the only place in the country. I would assume that we're kind of seeing that throughout. But then up north, they had some really hellacious winters, blizzards this year, or cold snaps. They're named storms. I love that they're naming winter storms now. It's like, come on. Were the winter storms were jealous of hurricanes? They're like, eh.
Yeah. Well, when you name something, you grow attached to it, and you don't want to kill it as much sometimes.
Next thing you know, they're going to start naming tornadoes.
They don't last long enough. They don't hang around long enough.
Well, if you're fast enough to get a name attached to it, right? Yes, but they don't. Do they name tsunamis?
I don't know.
That's a big
I
one.
think
You
they
would
usually,
think they would.
I think they usually just run from tsunamis.
Just run. We don't have
Yeah.
time for a fucking name. Get
Right.
the hell out of
Just
here.
go. Yeah. Yeah.
It's what movie was that? The tsunami came over. It was the deep impact is that the tsunamis.
Yeah.
They made some pretty hellacious damage throughout. Broke California off, which is high time, right?
It's about damn time. Yeah.
When is that damn thing gonna fall off?
They need to just get on with it.
I know, right? I mean,
We could just shove a nuke down the San Andreas fault and just blow it.
send what?
Get it out there. Just a nuke down
I
the
don't
San
think
Andreas.
you need a nuke. I think one really good ICBM, just a good,
Yeah, fair to whatever it takes. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying, we can irradiate California a
probably
little bit. I don't
find-
think that's a problem.
You could probably find 3 key points along the San Andreas Fault that if you just dropped a grenade in there, you could probably
It's
set
like-
off the reaction.
It's like hanging on by a thread, just a little bit of rock.
I did read a book a long time ago that was, and that was the premise of the book. California had fallen off, had broken free of the United States and become its own.
That's awesome.
Had become its own thing. They were disassociating from America now that they were attached. Operation Ass Cancer Removal. I love it when it breaks in the middle of my chat's kind of shrunk up, so I was like, Ass Cancer Rim Oval.
Rim oval.
Rim Oval.
That's a different thing.
It's top secret, yes. Don't take about it. Don't talk about it. Operation
Yeah.
Breast Cancer Removal. Nice.
It's top secret. Nice. I don't know what that
So,
means. I guess.
love bugs are fake news now. Damn it all to hell.
Yeah, because I like that one. I liked that myth.
Did you? I did too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
I
nice.
love the fact that there was something else to blame
You know
Florida
what?
for.
Yeah, I might still just believe it, just because I like it better.
How many times does Florida get blamed for something?
Oh, constantly. I mean, usually deservedly, but
Well, speaking of
Oh, God.
Florida, we just had a church fire here in Florida. The church was
Oh
empty.
shit.
Yeah, in Brandon, Florida, church it went up in flames. The place was empty, but they just arrested a guy.
Yeah, in
for-
New Jersey.
in New Jersey for going into a church. He had gas cans and a lighter. Tinchy, fake news.
I think they had a small
Fake
one.
news.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fake
might have
news.
been a small one.
No, that was just a place for Jesus to appear in some flames.
Yeah, he was just hanging out.
Did you see those reports? People were.
Yeah,
I
that's
looked
so
at it,
dumb.
and the news is like, did you stop to think it might have been a statue?
Right.
On fire.
On fire.
Really?
Yeah. This
God-
article.
God-
Did you put this? Did you put the article in the show suggestions here?
Yeah, college professor.
All right. I'll keep trying to find it.
Yeah, you'll see his face. He's got a beard. His mugshot.
A fellow beard.
But now this guy, it's amazing how intelligent people are. So, the guy is walking into a church with gas and a lighter, and he's walking into a church. He gets stopped. They didn't want him to come in, and so they call the police. Police come talk to him, and he says, "Oh, I was just passing through the church because that's a thing people do." Pass through
Yeah.
a church, right? Because there's a
Going
back door
through.
that you can easily use, with no problem. And because my car was out of gas.
Right.
Well, of course, they went to his car. It wasn't out of gas. So they put this son of a
Hmm.
bitch under arrest.
Hell
But at the
yeah.
same
Fuck that
time,
guy.
he had bought a one-way ticket before this to Rome.
Hmm.
So the question then becomes, what was he going to do in Rome,
Burn the Vatican, possibly. Or
right?
try to. I doubt it, though.
And what does a one-way ticket mean?
He plans on dying, probably.
Yes. My idea is that this guy had some nefarious plans in mind. And so, really, we have. So the question is, are we seeing copycats from the Notre Dame fire? Did this like spur people to copycat?
I don't know. It seems too much like because it's been happening really often recently. It might even. I don't know. I don't want to say I'd be conspiratorial and say like, oh, there's like a network of people working together to plan these things, but maybe. I mean, or maybe people. I don't know.
Well,
Because
that is that right there. What you just touched on is how they say that if there's a civil war in this country, that's how it's going to work in the beginning,
yeah.
is going to be coordinated efforts through social media in
Hmm.
various places, so that you won't have any idea where things are going to happen. So, who knows? It may have been, was it coordinated? Who knows? Um, copycat was the first thing to jump into my head, and it's like, okay, but do we really need to attack religious institutions?
No,
Um, you know, ultimately,
absolutely not.
ultimately, religion is on its own decline. I mean, you don't have to attack it, right?
Right.
And and I found it interesting how, God, how politicized. You're very blurry. Your camera. Did you scoot back some? There it is.
A little
Boom.
bit.
There he is.
All right.
Um,
God, I
so
can't even scoot back anymore.
how people tried to politicize and secularize things about the fire, because Ben Shapiro got so called out because he was talking about how the Notre Dame fire, the cathedral itself, was a monument to the Judeo-Christian heritage, in a sense. Basically, what he was saying is, there is a strong Judeo-Christian heritage in Western culture. Now, that's not to say Jewish Christians. It's saying that, I mean, if you look in this country, I mean, our history falls very strongly on Judeo uh, Jewish values, and Christian values. These are both very strong, impactful parts of our culture and our society, right? Equally as much, right? Jewish
Mm,
people have been around since,
I think it's more
forever.
Western values, which
Right,
might
Western
be
values. I'm talking about
right, which
ours
might
here in
be
America.
descendant from, but it's
Hindu
secular though.
outlook.
Our government was created, our country was created on secular values,
Sure,
not
sure, and more
necessarily.
Christianity
But
than anything. But
they did use a lot of the morals.
there wasn't as much of a Jewish population back then either, right? But
Yeah.
we've accepted the Jewish population, and a lot of our culture and a lot of our stuff is based in one of those, easily based in one of those two things, if not other things, other secular beliefs. But he was called out so much, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, because there's two statues there, and one shows a Christian statue, and then the shows, that's standing firm and tall and proud, and then the other statue. I forget the names of the statues because, of course, I just avoid religion. But it is a representation of the Judeo uh, religious viewpoint, and the crown is on the ground beside the statue, looking defeated, that kind of thing. Because of course,
Hmm.
Christianity defeated Judaism, and it didn't. None of that happened. Well, it happened, but that was a moment in time, right? I mean, this
Yeah.
war between the two has always gone on, but it's like, let's not bring politics into this. It was a great. The church is a great monument. It is what it is. What it was originally, and how the reasons for it being built and what it represented, those things were from a day and time where war for religion was a thing. We don't need that anymore. We don't. pursue those angles. I mean, Catholics aren't running around trying to start a new Inquisition. You know,
Right.
it's not
Yeah.
how, or Christians, I should say, Christians aren't out there doing this new Inquisition. Jews are not out looking for another Jesus to crucify. You know, extremist Islam is a thing, but it's only a small section, so we can't encompass the entire Islamic faith in that. It's not like we're at war with any other secular groups. Um, so those kind of things, that combative spirit, people need to let that shit go and understand that it's a tragedy. There are greater things to deal with there, like the building itself is an artifact. It's
Hmm.
the artifacts that were inside, a testament to history. These are historical things that we should be more worried about. Um,
Yeah.
and people really get it divulged into these other things. There have been religious declines in the past. Faith always had massive resurgences in response. And that's true. Now, the question,
And
Seawall, is this: will that mindset still hold true in the present day and age as we see such a continued decline? And I do know, I do understand that within a bubble, you know, within small bubbles, we see these rise and fall. So when a new president is elected, or something, a new pope is put into place, we do see some dips and curves, or declines in that. But as an overall, is religion, secular religion, not on a decline from a historical standpoint? I mean, fewer people here in this country are uh, falling under secular umbrellas anymore, right? So will we see a bounce back? Is there a
maybe
reason to
slightly.
continue to?
Can I
Yeah,
can
go
I
ahead.
jump in there? Oh, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, no, I was gonna say, while that's true that there's been religious declines and resurgences in the past, I think that the modern day is a little bit different, and that we have the internet now, and so you can find, all the arguments on both sides, for or against religion, and I don't know. I think that's gonna kind of, if there is a resurgence, I don't think it's going to be. I think you're going to see diminishing returns in your resurgences from now on. So I think it will. I think it will kind of go away after a while, or at least largely be gone. But
Well, now Sewell says, as faith declines, so does society. When society bounces back, faith. When society is bouncing back, faith will as well. So that brings a very important question. Do we need faith, secular faith, to have a strong society? Can
well,
societies not?
secular means like without religion, or like
Wait,
without.
wait. What is?
Yeah.
Well, secular religion is individual groups, right? Like
No.
you're secluded within your religious group. I thought that's kind of what
No,
you
that's
referred
not.
to. Well, what's
No,
secular
secular.
religion?
I don't know. That's probably some word for like people who don't have a religion but believe, or like I don't know, because there's like a lot of Christians who will call atheists religious. They'll be like atheists are more religious than Christians or whatever, or have more faith than Christians or something like that. So yeah, if
Okay,
you want to look it up.
so a secular religion is a communal belief system that often rejects or neglects the metaphysical aspects of the supernatural commonly associated with traditional religion, instead placing typical religious qualities in earthly entities. So still religious, but avoiding the narrative of the supernatural, the metaphysical, you know, God, Allah, Buddha, those
Hmm.
kind of things. And it's more of an earthly, you know, now what earthly entity? Mother Nature, right? So that would fall under secular religion if you're a naturist who believes in, the pagan gods. Would those be considered earthly entities? No, because those are
I
still
don't know.
metaphysical.
Yeah, those are yeah
So
intangible.
yes, without faith, element of purpose is lost. Decadence rises. I don't know. I have
Yeah,
trouble. I understand decadence rises, but isn't that just human instinct, or just part of being human, where we have decadent behavior, unless it's specifically taught to us? like through our nurturing as we grow up, not to be decadent. Don't we have to be taught that? Won't we
Well,
have
yeah.
maybe?
So I mean, the thing is, like, people. What I think what he's referring to is that without like the threat of something happening to you, of some kind of consequence, then
Right.
you'll just do whatever you want, whether that's good for you or not.
Well, don't laws do that?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can overthrow a government, right? You can't
Well,
overthrow
sure,
a god.
you can overthrow a government. Well, technically they've tried to do that. I mean, they've tried to overthrow
And
other
that had,
religions, right? And it failed.
well,
But
I'm not talking about the religion though. I'm talking about like if you
well,
believe in a god, there's no way that you can overthrow that god or stop it, and you know that you're not going to be able to get away with anything because you have this looming over you.
well, I disagree. If you kill off everyone who believes in that God, there's no one left. That God does no longer exist. You know, right?
No, that's
Right? I
not what
mean,
I mean though.
isn't
But
it
that's not
isn't
what
it
I
the
mean.
faith of the people that gives credence to that being, that deity? Without it, if you got rid of if Christians have been successful during the Crusades and wiped out any other beliefs, would that not have
But
removed
that's
those
not
deities
the
from
point of
existence?
that's not the point of what I'm saying.
Okay,
But
please
no,
clarify your
because
point then.
there's also like texts and stuff, books that can be discovered and things like that.
But they'll burn those.
Okay, whatever.
If you destroy
No,
every bit of the faith, there's
no. The
nothing
point
left.
the point of what I was saying though was that if you have this like this threat of eternal damnation or whatever it is, the threat of consequences in general looming over you, and you know that you can't get away with something like you know that like if you commit a crime, there's a chance that you're not going to get caught. If a cop
Right,
doesn't see you do it or no one else
right.
sees you do it, there's a chance you're not going to get caught. But if you believe in this, power that sees everything you do and knows exactly what you're doing and what thoughts you have, you can't get away with it. So you're less likely to, do these negative things to other people. And I think that's what Sewell was talking about.
Right. Well, that is what feeds into my concept, my idea that is why religious texts were created. Why
Yeah,
these religions were founded were a mechanism by which there is an authority that you cannot see, that is not
right.
tangible, that will bring fire, hell, and brimstone down upon you if you step out of line from what we created for you to believe in. It was a,
Right. Well, yeah.
I've
So,
always seen them as control mechanisms created by men.
right. Well, it's a way to legitimize power. It's a way to say, I've been chosen by this deity to lead you. And that's what makes that person legitimately the leader that people don't question. Like, wait, why is this asshole in charge? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's where it came from originally. Well, it came from that and also wanting to be able to explain things that couldn't be explained at the time.
Well, and Sewell points out, it says if faith was strong in the West, would we have drag queen kids stripping in gay bars? And I would,
Probably not, but we'd also have a whole host of other issues.
well,
So,
I would counterpoint with even at points where faith is high, we have, in our history, we've had points and times where faith was very high. We still had prostitution, right? I mean,
mhm.
there's a decadence, just a bit of decadence right there, whether the
Well, to be
prostitute or the
fair,
purchaser, right?
Jesus was, all about legalizing prostitution.
Well,
So,
that doesn't mean it was okay. I mean, it was okay for a
yeah, no.
while in our society, right? But then we were like, oh, no, 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 that's taboo, you know. So I mean, killing. That's the other thing. It's like if
I like what
faith.
Tenchi said in
Instead,
the
we'd have
chat.
drag queen kids stripping in churches. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
The
Yeah.
trans church of the Holy Mother of Infinite Bloodshed. Uh, the faith helps build and maintain morals.
Maintain, yes, but I think that it's morals that are forced on you, that are not well reasoned out and well thought out. They're just that's what you've been raised to believe. Those are flimsy,
I'll tell you.
and
Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
I was just
please.
saying that those are flimsy if they're not if you're not reasoned into your morals, then they're going to be very flimsy. They're going to be, you'll be able to say, oh well, I don't believe this out of principle. I believe this because that's what I've been told to believe. So, maybe I can put it aside for now and do, this immoral thing. I don't think it, because I mean, even if you look at like the old, like, I don't know, I'm trying to pick a time period, but there's always been times where people who are extremely religious did things that were against their morals.
Hmm. There's
Always.
there's corruption in religion just as much as there are in governments and in
Oh
society,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And I will say this: I strongly believe that there is a better source of morals than faith,
Yeah.
and this
Well, I
is
think
where we
reason
lack
is
in this
with
country.
morals. Yeah.
The best source of morals that anyone can have as they grow up is what is taught to them by their parents. If parents have strong moral values, they don't have to be they don't have to be
Yeah.
based in faith. What it has to be faith based in is humanity. This
Well, yeah. So they should be trying to reason the morals or reason the kids into believing the morals as
right,
opposed to saying, well, this is what we believe as a X, whatever, you know, input whatever you want in the X, but
right.
right, it needs to be like, here's why this is a good thing. Here's why that's a great thing. Here's why this is not a good thing.
Uh,
And here's
right.
right, exactly. So yeah, go ahead.
See, if we went on the faith concept like that, I mean, there are certain things that I believe to be true from that standpoint. Women should be staying at home to raise the children so that they have a strong someone with strong faith and morals raising the children. We're in a day and age where children are often being raised by a handful of people. So the moral values that parents try to instill don't necessarily take hold because they
Hmm.
get varying sets of moral values when they're at their daycare or they're in school and their after school program. They
Yeah.
will run into these things that are varying ideas of morals. Whereas, just you know,
I mean, I think that's a good thing too to run into to challenge your morals, your morality by exposing yourself to different versions of morals because I think that will make your morals stronger.
but
Or maybe
right.
you'll find some that are better than what you currently have.
Yes, but as a child, as you're
But
developing,
that's
it's
also the parent's
confusing.
job. It is confusing. Well, that's the parent's job, right? To communicate
Right.
with their child about, okay, well, why do you think that this person believes this? And that
Sure.
is something that my dad always did with me, and I do appreciate that because it gave me the ability to reason. It was because he always asked why. If I that's he's always every time I've said, oh, I think this. Why do you think that? And I
Right.
had to
What should you
actually
think
think
about
it out and reason out why I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very confusing to a child to get to get varying input on what standards and morals to have. And then there's the idea that do you know what they're being taught? Are you getting a
Hmm.
clear picture? Are you communicating enough with your children? And that's again, we're at a point in our society where that's not happening. If we
Right.
if we really wanted to go back to a faith-based moral building society, well, we need to rethink how those morals are being delivered to the children. And honestly, from a religious standpoint, I mean, being brought up in a Catholic church, it was always the idea that you know a mother stays at home and raises the
Hmm.
children, gives them a firm foundation constantly and consistently that is, unwavering. And that's next to impossible for much of our society now. It's not something that they do or can follow. You're going. Why are you blurry again? You got to get your camera checked out.
I don't know. I can't see myself right now because I'm.
Well,
I don't know.
you're
Why is my camera blurry?
probably because it's trying to focus on something in the foreground, like your mic. Pull your mic
Oh
back
yeah,
to you.
maybe.
There
Oh
you
yeah,
go.
there we
Take the
go.
mic out, and there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. See, that's where faith. That's where I start to lose faith in faith. Is what it demands is not plausible. You can't tell this society that. You can't get society back to that point where we are having well-defined morals. Those good old days that we used to have in this country, Sewell says going with pure logic and reason can lead people to eating their own children. There was a famous philosopher during the Irish Spud famine that killed the pure logic thoughts of the time. We need both reason, faith, and
yeah,
maintain
I'm
a
not
moral
suggesting pure
system.
logic and reason.
No, no,
You know,
sure,
I'm not
no.
suggesting pure. Yeah, I mean, you need. I don't know if you need faith necessarily. At least not faith in some deity. You can have faith in other things. You know what I mean? Like
If
you
it
can
was
have.
Tenchi, shameful, shameful, shameful.
Yeah,
As
they
we
didn't have
raise money,
olive
as we
oil.
raise money for children. Thanks,
Yeah, how
Tenchi.
dare you? You don't have babies with olive oil. Come on, you got to use
Right?
some kind of.
Well,
You know, I don't know. What would you use?
garlic olive oil
Ooh,
is
yeah, that would be good.
yeah.
Mm.
A little butter and onion. I think I prefer a little butter and onion. Makes a great flavor mix.
Potato oil. Oh, and Robert, I have a bone to pick with you about how you said spud. You got to say it right. It's spud.
No, it's spud.
It's
I can read.
spud.
I can read.
Yeah, but you got to say it like the Irish say it. It's spud.
No, I don't have to because I'm not
You do.
Irish.
Yeah, that's what it says right here. There was a famous philosopher during the Irish Spud famine.
No, I see
So you got to say it
spud.
like that.
I see spud.
Yeah, no, but that's how you have to pronounce it.
No, you don't have to. See,
You
that
have
is
to.
you
It's
trying to control
required.
my speech. And here in America,
Listen,
you can't
Robert,
control my speech,
Robert, just
mister.
have faith that I'm correct.
All
That's all
right.
I need.
Okay. Okay, Orange Man wannabe.
It's good spud.
Nice. I'm not
Like,
even going to go to the chat. Let me restrain ourselves. I'm not going to go there
yeah, he's
because
gonna.
we can't. We're
Seawall
talking
to
about
just
babies.
provide a nice Chianti.
Now, I know I'm going to point this out that I find it interesting.
Chianti.
I have a grandchild that lives here in the house, and we use
Hmm.
baby wipes. Of course, people use baby wipes, right?
Yeah.
Um, but something about her skin chemistry. When you wipe her face and her hands with the baby wipe,
Hmm.
it creates a beer smell.
That's funny.
Talk amongst yourselves. Please tell me how that happens. But something about the chemical reaction between the two. We're like, has she been drinking beer? What is this beer smell? You can pull a wipe out and it smells just like a wipe. You wipe the baby down, it smells like a beer.
Someone's been pouring beer on her.
No, that's the thing. It happens constantly. She can come out of a bath and have it done. It's
I don't
weird.
know. That
It's a
is
weird
weird.
thing, and I'm like, how do I bottle her?
Right?
I'm gonna make a fortune off this redhead pale ale.
Oh, that's awesome. That
Right?
probably exists already. Redhead Pale Ale.
Probably
Let's
that.
see.
Yeah, it would kill. Um, but that's this. I always find this to be an interesting conversation. This idea
Yeah.
that we need faith. I firmly support anyone's belief that that's true. But I find faith a control factor. I see it as a form of
Well,
control.
so like I was saying though, is I don't think faith requires a deity, like having faith in a
Sure,
deity. You can
no.
have faith in other
Well,
things.
right. You can have
And have
faith in
faith
your
in
fellow man.
humanity itself, right?
Right.
In humanity
And I
itself, or
and I
faith in
right.
anything really.
And I think that morals should be civilization based, society based. Like those are where your morals should come in. Because for
From the people
to
around
have
you.
a civilized society, it means that everyone has moral values on right and wrong.
Hmm.
Right, and that's how we determine a civilized society. We're not in a civilized society. We've been at war for 233 of our 250 years. That's
We're
not
pretty
very
damn good at it.
civilized. War's not very civilized, in my opinion.
We're
But
pretty
now
damn good at it, though.
apparently, you would think we were.
We are. What are you
We
talking
have
about?
enough experience. We should be getting it right, but we still keep
Yeah,
screwing around. you know, it's like, did we screw
I
up
don't know.
here? Faith in atheism. I've always found atheists to, it's kind of a belief in nothing, right? They don't believe in
I
any
mean,
deity, but it's still a
I am a
belief.
neckbeard, so
I mean, I
must
always
be.
thought that was a little bit of a contradiction. Our belief is a belief in nothing. Well, you have a belief then.
Well, no. The definition of the definition of an atheist is a lack of belief.
A lack of belief, right? But
Yeah,
you still have to believe in that. You have to have faith in
yeah.
that belief,
Well, no, no.
in
It's
a
a lack
sense,
of
right?
belief. It's not a
Right, I
belief.
get
It's
it.
not a positive. It's
But
a
you can't
negative
prove a negative.
belief. Well, yeah, you can't prove that there is no
So,
God,
do
obviously.
atheists exist? If you can't prove a negative, do
Yeah.
atheists
Oh
exist?
my God. Yes, they do.
I see faith as
Yeah,
basically
I remember that argument,
used a pressure relief valve to keep us from going too far. I could
and
see
I
that,
can see some value in that. Yeah, I can see
but
some value.
on the flip side, it is that same thing. Faith is also taken us too far. We have seen times, anytime anyone invokes the name of a deity or their faith in war, in violence, that is where faith on in its own right takes it too far. Because violence isn't necessary in faith, or I don't think it is. Is it ever been called
Mm.
for? Well, I understand.
Well, yeah.
I even think the Quran doesn't call for violence necessarily, does it? Well, I guess all
Mm,
faiths do. I mean, like even the
yeah,
Bible
and,
does,
and
right?
and times like it gives you the reasons for or the times when you should enact violence. Yeah,
When to strike someone down, that kind of thing.
right.
And it's very see, and even that gets very confusing, because it says, "Judge not, lest thou be judged," right? But then at other times it's like if this happens, you can do
Yeah.
this. Well, no. It's hard to leave those things in the hands of man and expect man to do it the right way. All right, that's in my opinion, that is. It's no, it does passages straight up say kill the non-believer, right? And the Quran does,
Mm-hmm.
but even the Christian text, the variations on that, do call for you know ways of dealing
Oh
with people.
shit, Killian in the chat.
Quran is oddly
Killian in our
specific. What's
chat.
up, Killian? Yes, it is oddly
Mm-hmm.
specific about it. The irony there is, um, it's not this jihadist idea is more of an extremist thing, but the killing of people from the Quran is more of a. If I'm not mistaken, and I haven't read the full text, but isn't it more of a defensive? Isn't it kind of being a stand your ground kind of thing, or is it just wipe out
No.
the infidels? I mean, I've
Yeah.
never. It does it
It's
really just say wipe out
yeah.
everybody that's not
Yes.
part of the
The
faith?
goal of Islam is to turn everyone into a Muslim.
But isn't that the
That is
goal
the
of
goal of Islam.
Christianity too?
Um, it used to be.
But is
I
it
mean,
not
people don't
still?
really care all that much anymore. But the difference is they'll come to your door and annoy
Right.
you
They're
and talk to you. But they're
still
not going to
trying to
kill
sell it.
you for not be. But they're not going to kill you for not being a
Well,
Christian,
anymore,
right?
they're not going to kill you, right?
Right. So I'm saying
I
it
mean,
hasn't been about that
we
for a
went through
long
that
time.
phase, right? We got past it. Is that it?
Um. Yeah. I mean, it depends on the era and what region we're talking about. But yeah,
Now,
that's been a thing. It's
now
happened.
I will say our Old Testament is kind of oddly violent. Like there are some, it's more there that you see calls
Yeah.
to, how you handle things on the ground that,
Well, I mean,
God
to be
doesn't need to
fair,
intercede
yeah.
in.
Yeah, to be fair, God was pretty young at the time. I mean, if you look, he's kind of settled down once he had the kid. He kind of became more rational and reasonable at that point.
He was a very mean person for a while.
He's very jealous, yeah.
I mean, why to wipe out the entire population of the earth? He's like, fuck this, scratch them all except this family here. I'm just wipe them all out. That's some hardcore shit right there.
Yeah.
Oh, let's bring some plagues and let's do this, let's do that,
Dash
and
the young ones against the rocks, yeah.
right. I mean, there were some in the name of a Christian God that I was like, really, we did that. This is okay. This is and why was this okay? Why do we still talk about this like it was okay? These are things because it was God. God did it. God can do what He wants. I'm like, but why doesn't He do it anymore? That always becomes the question for me. And of course,
Hmm.
Christian texts, and faith will always say because God stepped back after the great floods. He's like, okay, I'm going to step back. I'm not going to play in this mess anymore. He did the whole Jesus thing.
Yeah, like I said, he
Yes,
had the kid, yeah.
but this idea that he was going to stop interceding, and I'm like, really, really,
Hmm.
you're just gonna stop and walk away. As soon as it's almost like as soon as the Bible was done being written, we never saw anything from God again.
Right, yeah, it's almost like,
Isn't that odd?
it's almost like someone was asking too many questions, like, hey, how come we never see this stuff that you guys are talking about? And they're like, oh shit, he's not here anymore. He's
Right?
somewhere else now.
Write a chapter on him
Like, yeah,
stepping back and how it's all going to end. He's coming in the
right,
end, right?
right.
And it's funny. So many people believe like okay, so there's a conundrum there for me. Like, okay, if you're good and you're baptized, and we'll talk about the Catholic faith. If you're good and you're baptized, and you lead a good life, go to church, confession, and all that, you're going to go to heaven, right?
Hmm.
But Revelations seems to have been put in there to kind of make you think that it could happen in your lifetime.
Right.
This is going to happen in your lifetime.
Well, it's coming
You're going
very
to see.
soon. Yeah.
He's going to come. Judgment Day is going to happen in your lifetime. You're going to see it, and you're either going to go to heaven or hell when you're judged here on
Right.
earth. Right. At the
Yep.
same time, they're telling you, just live a good life, and you'll go to heaven. Bad life, go to hell. Undecided, you're in purgatory. Right. You get the waiting room with the endless phone ring.
Well, now with the undecided, at least with Catholics, with Catholicism, purgatory was there for you to cleanse your soul. To so because when you're Catholic and you've gotten all your sacraments, you're guaranteed in heaven. But you have to go through purgatory in order to cleanse your soul before it can go up to heaven. And that wasn't always around. That was, I mean, relatively new compared to the age of the Catholic Church. But
It always pissed me off when they would say that that's where the unbaptized babies go. They spend the rest of eternity in purgatory because they were never baptized, but they never did any evil. And I'm like, well, that's shitty. Why do you
yeah,
want to do that to babies? Yet in the Bible, you say, suffer the children, lest ye bring harm to them, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, so you're gonna condemn a baby, a child, to purgatory for eternity? As opposed to just being like, why not just have a big fucking nursery in heaven that they can all go to? I always felt that was just
well,
really
see,
shitty.
the worst part is, because this is where we start getting to like circular logic, is babies in purgatory, right? That's where they go when they're not baptized. But the thing is, God already knows what you're going to do throughout your entire life, and He made you to be a certain way. And He's also the
Right?
one who decided that you die when
Wasn't
you
that,
die.
isn't that crazy logic too?
So yeah, so He created you to go to purgatory.
He either creates you to go to purgatory, heaven, or hell. Like,
Right.
and that's what always got me. I'm like, if he knows everything, he already knows where I'm going. Why do I have to
Right.
go to church and live a good life? He already
Yeah.
knows what's going to happen to me. My fate is sealed. So, however I live my life, that's how it's going to end up.
Yep.
He already knows everything. So why are
Well,
we
no, I'm not
playing
talking
the
about
game?
Calvinism, which I'm not talking about like what do they call it? Call it was it predestiny? I think is what they call it. I'm just talking about that. I'm not saying that he makes. I guess I did kind of say that. What I mean is that he's not making you do the things, but he already knows everything you're going to do. So before you're even born, God already knows whether you're going to be in heaven or hell
Right.
or purgatory, I guess, for a
Yeah,
while.
everything's predestined according to God. I mean, he's
Well,
already
no, it's not
seen
right.
from the beginning to the end of time, right?
Right, exactly. So he already knows who's going to be in heaven, who's not.
Because he existed before time was a thing, and he will exist after.
Hmm.
Time is no longer a thing. So he's experienced all of it, and that always bugged me too. I'm like, well, if he's present in everywhere in time, how does he get bored enough to want to make a planet and create
I
life
mean, to
and
be
all this?
fair, I
I
would
mean,
do
was
that
he
too.
was just bored? He's like, but why do it if you already? It's like, okay, I already know how this movie's going to end. I see it replayed in my mind every moment of every day because already know how it begins all the way to the end. I have it memorized. Why do I need to build it in actuality? Right? I mean, I already know what's going to happen, so why build it? Why bother?
Yeah.
Because it's just something that's fun to sit around and watch, and I'll dip my finger in every once in a while and fuck with them, like poking an
See, to be
anthill.
fair, I would do that. I would, if I was God, I would absolutely do that. Create a planet and
It,
just fuck with the people. I do that kind of shit all the time in games, like games like Banished or I used to play SimCity a lot, but I haven't played that much. Um, Tropico shit like that.
oh, excuse me for that. Six.
Oh, six. Let's see. She knows how to have fun. I'll give her
How
that.
do
She
you
can
know
dance
that?
pretty well
Oh,
because
from
we've
her
seen
high
the
school
dance
video.
videos. Yeah,
She
so we've seen
knows how
that,
to
and
have
that
fun,
she's
John. That's
and
I
so
don't know.
she's
I'm gonna have to go to the audience for lame-o on that.
so she. Oh no, because I mean, after that came out and like there was that fake, where people thought that people were being riled up, but nobody really cared.
See,
So
so
let me
far we've
let
gotten
me give the reason. Let me give the
okay.
reason. So when that whole video came out, and people were pretending like people cared, but no one actually cared. She goes dancing into the whatever meeting room they were going into. She was saying like, "Oh, look, I can still have fun," and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think it counts.
All right, we're going to go to the chat. Need a vote of confidence or no confidence in number 6 for AOC?
Come on, you guys are killing me here, man. I'm trying, all right. I'm
I'm
scraping the bottom of the barrel already. So, all right.
All
Well,
right, we've got one veto. Seawall,
you're about to lose that wrench
Killian,
there,
anybody
Tenchi.
else? We've got to we got to know. I'm on the fence on this one. I can see maybe
She's not some like
she took that whole thing with aplomb by
right.
going and
Exactly.
dancing into Congress that way. I can see
Right.
that she can take a joke well, in a sense. So
Yeah.
is that considered having
And she's
fun?
not. Yeah, and she's not like some prudish snob who's just like, oh, I can't believe people are saying this about me and shit. She just had fun with it. So Ajit Pai, yeah, I guess I would give him that compliment because that video he made while infuriating was a great troll. I mean, he
I
really trolled people with that video. So I mean, yeah, I'll give that to him too.
I'll tell you what. For this one reason, I'll go ahead and I will vote to give you credit for this, because President Trump is an excellent example of someone who can't take a joke about his past
Right?
or things that
Yeah.
happen with him. He just calls it really horrible things being said, fake news, blah blah blah, disloyal, blah blah blah. I'm crying,
Yeah.
orange tears.
Yeah, that's fair. And
All
yeah,
right.
see, I got the
So
veto was overturned.
only 3 more, John, and we're about 15 minutes away from our first break.
Well, let's actually
So
take our first break.
no, we got to.
Probably now.
We want. Come on, John. Come on. You can't take
Why
your
do we
break
need
without
15
getting
more
the 10
minutes?
out. Then you better whip out
All 10
3
of
more
them?
right now. 3 more before we go to break. It was before
Oh
we take our
man.
first break. So if you've got to tinkle and have yourself a little cigarette, you better get on it.
Well, let's see. She has nice suits, I suppose. I mean, they're all right. They're not like shitty. Like, she's a decent. She's decently dressed. She's decently dressed.
I
I
wish I
mean,
knew how to put a red X.
she's decently dressed. I
Cameron
think that
liked my
counts.
orange tears. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sad clown, orange tear. Nope, that has to do with her
um.
looks. Good call, Tenchi. Look at you searching the internet for something positive to say.
Yeah, I was trying. Oh no, I was just looking
fucking
through like her
pleb.
policy.
You're a
I was looking through her
pleb.
policies. Yeah, I was looking through. No, Cameron, that is not true at all. I mean, I guess I could lie and just say that, and then
Well, let me
win.
ask you this. She does have well thought out policies. Are those her thoughts? If those are, she does have well thought out policies. Well thought
Hmm.
out, not logical
Yeah.
necessarily, but put together. Well, I guess that might go to articulate.
See, I don't.
Articulating.
I mean, I guess again, I could lie and say that I believe that, but I don't. I'm trying to think of genuine things that I actually think are positive about her, not just things that I could think that are positive about her.
Here's another glaring one that I can't believe you haven't said. She is one of the youngest people to go into Congress.
Well, yeah, but I
She,
don't know.
she
You know what? I didn't say ambitious, did I? I
no,
just said motivated and
she
passionate. I'm
has
gonna go with ambitious.
she has
Yeah,
shown
she's very
great
ambitious.
ambition in
Yeah,
pursuing this dream of being in government.
yeah,
You know, I mean, seeing as how she's going to run for president before too long, you know, she's made some great moves. Remember, I gave great props to the young kid that I saw here in
yeah.
Florida. That was, he's trying to make something happen at a very young age. I know, I'd have to give her props for that. And there I am giving you a gimme for number 8, but that leaves you 2. That
Oh
leaves you
man, two
2.
more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
John, toughest
she
challenge in your life.
she's man, she's entertaining. She's entertaining to listen to and to watch. We'll give her that. She's entertaining. She knows how to captivate an audience. And no, my
No,
time,
no,
my
no.
his time is not.
I was giving him ambition as
Yeah,
number 8. So we're throwing him one more bone. The last
but I
two,
just
and a bone
entertain.
a bone besides the one that he normally gets when he goes out at night. Um,
Hey, ha cha 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 cha.
All right, so two more, John. What have you got? Come on.
Well, I
Come on.
just said entertaining.
She's
She's
entertaining from a
entertaining.
new
She's fun. She's fun to watch. She's
from a new
you
media
know, she's
standpoint. She is definitely
yeah,
entertaining.
she's good at captivating an audience. She's she can do that. I'm not saying she captivates me,
I'm not
unless because
captivated
I
by
can't.
her. I have to set aside the nasal quality to her tone of voice.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like
I mean,
I
I
have to
can't really
stop
speak much
hearing
about
her as a
someone else's voice,
whiny.
but
I have to stop hearing her as a whiny kid.
yeah.
You know,
Oh
it's
yeah, she
like,
sounds like that.
yeah. But yeah, okay, I'll give you entertaining. She is entertaining. Anybody that doesn't find her entertaining in some way, shape, or form is kind of silly because she's fuel for the fire. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
she is.
No, absolutely.
All right, you got one more then. One more.
One more.
One
God
more.
damn.
Make it a good one, John. Is it that impossible to find 10 good
It's
things to say
really
about a
fucking
person?
not easy. Well, I don't know her. If I knew her personally, I might be able to, I don't know. Maybe she's a good cook. I mean, maybe she's, I don't know. Like I said, I tried to use she can make a good drink, but you wouldn't let me use that one.
Until
So
you've had one of her drinks, how would you know? That's just
right,
fake
but that's what I'm
news.
saying. That's my point about like I would be able to say more nice things about her if I knew her personally. But I don't know her personally, so I have to kind of go off of what I've seen. Um,
Hmm.
mm, she's, you know what? How about this consistency? Her policies and her everything that she said is consistent with what she believes, which is also pretty rare in politics. Now, whether that will change or not in the future, who knows? I also respect her for having not having like any what are they called, like the CPACs or PACs, the political action committees. She hasn't taken a ton of corporate money. She got there from the grassroots movement, so I respect that.
Okay, I can give you that. That is, for whatever fallacies or failures her policy ideas may have, that is
She's
good. And
consistent.
she's organic, right?
Yeah.
She's not been bought out
So
as
I
far as we know.
so even if Tenchi was right, uh,
I think.
then that I had three, I gave two more.
All
She was
right, I think.
consistent, and I respect her for being a grassroots movement and doing it on her own as opposed to just taking a bunch of money and buying the election basically.
All right, I'll give you that. And so we got a good job, John. You finally did. It took you 2 fucking hours to figure out 10 things to say nice about the girl, but you
I did
managed
not
to pull
enjoy
it
it
out
either.
with some help from the
With some
viewing
help,
audience
yes.
and co-host. But you
Yeah.
managed to pull it out. So, tell you what we're going to do, folks. We are going to take a 15-minute break. Let John and myself run and use the bathroom. Maybe 10, maybe 15, tops 15. So, if you all don't mind just
Yeah,
giving
it's
us a
15.
pause for a moment, we'll be back. I know we said this was going to be a 12-hour stream, but we're not going to count these little breaks. $420 got another milestone at 500, right? And if we can hit
That's
that
right.
milestone in the next segment, it's going to be fun. So, post it on your social or unsocial medias. That's right, Tinchy. So, folks, if you don't mind, throw it out there. Get
Yep.
people involved. I've got it posted up on Facebook. We're going to make sure those links are still rolling out throughout the day to get people drawing in funds for the kids with the help of St. Jude's. This is
Hmm.
an important thing that we're doing. It's not for nothing. I know that you got to suffer through with hearing us a little as we blather on, but
That's
in
right.
the next segment that we've got coming up, we're going to dive in to the
Yep.
Mueller. Dive into the Mueller report a little bit. We're going to talk about that. And I'm guessing that a few people are going to have some strong opinions one way or the other on this one. And I can't wait to hear it. So, folks, hit that like, hit that subscribe, whatever you might need to do. But make sure and get out there and let people know that we're
Yeah.
doing something important here today. And we'll see you back here in about 15
Yep.
minutes.
Yep. See you guys.
Peace.